You or me?
Me or you? Hello!
Me or you? Hi, there we are again. Welcome in the second year and your very first Tools for Dummies live stream of this year. It's going to be a great year because this year you will, in block 1 you will be learning everything about making your own logo and corporate design. In block 2 we will teach you how to make an animation in After Effects, so you can explain a difficult subject and then by showing an animation. And then in the second semester you will be working on your own talk show, and then everything comes together from design to movie making to building up your own studio, so that will also be very fun. But first,
let's start with the first block.
Yeah.
Yes. And also enjoy this last year because you're only going to have visual communication in year 1 and year 2. So you have a lot of creative freedom also in the last semester. So take that chance, go to the media lab, grab a camera and do whatever you want. Or Illustrator or any Adobe program.
True. So what will this first block be about? Okay, as we just told you, everything about logo design. So in a while we will go to is it called seminar?
Seminar?
About logo design.
Yeah, or like the
college?
the
No,
lecture.
it's a lecture. It's a lecture.
It's a lecture.
A lecture about logo
Very
design. Very fun to do. Interactive as well. So we will ask you a couple of questions to which you can respond, and then we will do this together.
Yeah.
There is, however, a delay of like 30 seconds, I think. So once we ask you a question, we have to wait 30 seconds before that question comes to you. So in the meantime, we will play some games or something like that.
Yeah, or drink a cup of coffee.
Yeah. First, let us take a look, as usual, at the student guide. And let me find it for you.
Yes, so together with your project group, you're going to make your own corporate identity. So that's clear. And how are you going to do that? You're going to make a mock-up for that. So first you're going to create the logo, and then you will implement that on different products. I think we can switch to the student guide. Yeah.
Yeah, so the student guide is as you're used to it. So first you have the general questions, but I think you have the hang of it. If you need to renew your Creative Cloud license, then please do. Something has changed in that. You won't receive a code anymore. You can just renew it through SurfSpot, and then it will be automatically activated as long as you use the email address that you've used before. So all in all, it's a bit easier.
Yeah, it's easier, yeah. So please don't forget the email account you registered your Adobe account with. But probably this is your school email, and then it's super easy. Go to SurfSpot, pay, and then it's linked automatically.
Yeah, and if you forgot, because there was a summer vacation between last and this year.
Yes.
If you cannot log into your Adobe account, chances are 9 out of 10 that you've either used the wrong credentials, so you had registered on a different email address, or you can log out and then log in again, and then please choose personal account and not corporate or school account, because the corporate school account option is only for the computers at Hanze, so you can make use of Adobe for free over there. So if you're way out of money, there's always the chance to make use of the 2 Macs that we have at the Media Lab. But then first you have to make an account at the CMI Media Desk.
At Bonne.
Bonne will make an account for you. And of course you need to make, I think, a reservation, because it might well be that others have to use the computers as well.
And again, for the Adobe license, you can use it on 2 devices. So you can share one account with a classmate or a friend. That
still works. I've tested it.
Yeah, me too.
It saves you like $60, euros.
Yeah.
Then, also this block, we have a couple of fun workshops for you. Today we have the live stream in which we explain how logo design works and how how corporate design works. And then next week you have a fun creative workshop in which you will draw your own logo. So we have some exercises for that, and then you can start sketching your own logo just on paper with paper and pencil.
Yeah.
And you can use that as a basis to, well, as a foundation for your corporate design. And then the week after, we will refreshen your Illustrator memory, and then you can turn your analog drawing into a digital painting by using Illustrator.
Yes. And we also have an exercise for that, because you're first going to make a pizza slice logo.
Oh yeah, that's a very fun exercise. Is that in here? No,
I do think it's on Blackboard, but you will find out if you come to class as well, because it's a very fun exercise, and again, you use all the basic tools to make this logo design, which is pretty fun. And it's also nice to fresh up your mind. And maybe we'll have it. Oh, yeah, we have it in the PowerPoint. Yeah.
It looks like this. So this just has some basic techniques that you're used to, but then you can refreshen your skills.
Yeah, which is great, because you use the pencil in here, you use shapes, colors, you use the direct selection tool, the selection tool.
Also not the clipping mask, but there are the shape builder.
The shape builder tool,
yeah,
my favorite tool.
Yeah, the shape builder is great, because then you can make these vegetables that are on the edge of your pizza, and then cut off the sides with the shape builder.
Very handy.
Yeah.
But that's what we're going to do in the workshop in class. So the assignment is indeed to make a corporate identity individually. And this is actually what you're going to do. This is the structure for making your own logo design. So today we're also going to talk about different kind of colors, different kind of fonts, and also the symbolic meaning of your logo design, of some popular logo designs and some maybe not so popular, but very interesting.
Then about maybe the grading?
Yeah, the grading, because as you know, last year you always made 2 assignments, so we have that as well. So the corporate identity you're going to make individually, but then in the end, with your project group, you're going to pick the best one, and based upon that design, you're going to create a website for your own communication agency. And the website is made in WordPress, and that is a conditional for your grades. So eventually you're going to hand in something looking like this. Yeah. So a corporate identity mock-up. You
can download it from Blackboard, open it up in Illustrator, and then there are several products in there that you can use. You can see this is a consultancy agent called Wally Consultancy, and it has this logo made of a font and a glass.
Monocular?
Damn, why is our English so...
A magnifying glass.
A magnifying glass.
Oh
man, if we didn't have you, Maurice. A magnifying glass. Sorry for our bad English. We just had a Dutch class, and before that we're a bit tired. But anyway, you can see the elements that this logo has been built of. So you can also see that this magnifying glass, that the elements of the magnifying glass are coming back in different kinds of, well, shapes, different kind of manners.
Also colors.
And colors on the other products that you see. So what we want you to do is not only make a logo and then just paste it onto every product that you have, but make use of the elements that you created to design the other products that are on here.
Yeah.
And then you can get a high grade.
Yes. And we all want that, of course. So conditional is the website, and you get graded by the mock-up. Questions, feel free to ask them in the chat also about the assignment.
Yeah, of course.
And the deadline, of course, is the 4th of November, Friday.
I'm searching for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you have it.
Oh, question. Can we have two
Hey.
logos? Because you usually see a bigger logo with the full name and then a more compact one that is put on products. Yes, of course.
Good
Because
thinking.
in the theory we're going to explain in a minute, we also talk about word marks of a logo and also graphic marks. So of course you can do that. Yeah. Good question. Friday, 4th of November.
Yeah, that was the
To-do.
deadline. Instructions for handing it in, you find it below, and the grading looks something like this. So we have a conditional requirement. That's your WordPress website that you're making with your group. So I think we will, in the upcoming week, we will send out an email in which we ask you to enter one name of your project group, and that will be the one who gets the account for the website, and then together you can make it. So here you will find the requirements for that. And then for your logo, these requirements will maybe be familiar to you because they look a lot like previous requirements for previous designs that you made.
But one specific is about logo, because we, in a minute, we're going to talk about the theory of what a good logo should have or include. So effective at large and small scale, descriptive or symbolic, unique and doesn't look like any other existing logo design. So that's about the logo.
Yeah.
Then we have some other requirements about layout, color type.
The typical Illustrator requirements.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we can see mock-up. So that is about what Danny just mentioned. That's not just pasting a logo onto a product, but also
try to be creative.
Yeah, and implements elements of a logo on different products, so you get points for that as well. Okay, I think if you have questions about the assignments, the student guide is full of information. And we also, we always put a lot of care in those manuals and nobody reads them. But okay. So let's switch over to the building blocks of a logo.
Yeah, let's start. So, let's just go and fly right in. So the first logo that you might all know is the Nike
famous
logo. And the Nike logo, well, as you see it over here, this is not the entire logo. This is actually called the graphic mark. Because if we take a look at the complete logo, and a lot of logos are made up by a word mark and a graphic mark, as you can see over here. And in the case of Nike, it has a lot of advantages because they have a word mark and a graphic mark. They have choice. They can choose to either use the complete logo on their products, like you see on the shoes on the top, the bottom right, or they can use only their word mark, like they do with these shoes on the left, or with the Air Max model, they can use, well, with a lot of, I think there's not even one Nike shoe that doesn't have the swoosh on the side, or they must be some kind of special edition. But you can see that the swoosh is just on the side, so they have this choice.
Yeah, so you can choose to include your word mark and graphic mark together, or you can work with your word mark or only with your graphic mark. So also be creative with that in your mock-up. But if you take a look at the graphic mark, do you guys know the meaning behind this logo design? So it has a symbolic meaning, and maybe one of you knows what this swoosh means.
While we wait, one other question.
While we wait, one other question. What if we aren't doing project this block? Then you can just think about an organization you like to make a corporate identity for. And for the website, or maybe based upon your own company, for the website, please email me, because then I can give you the credentials individually for the website, so that we don't forget about you if you're not doing the project.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. In the meantime,
Yeah, well, I think now 30 seconds went by, so now the question
People-
has come to them. And now we have to wait another 30 seconds. So I think I'm gonna drink something.
yeah. And to answer
But
some emails.
it's so, I find the Nike logo one of the most beautiful logos
Yeah,
there is. Because
so
it's
simple
it
and
looks so simple. but
strong.
try it out for yourself. Try to draw this logo and you will definitely fail. Well, I did, because the curves they are so specific. It's in such a specific way that it's very difficult to replicate. But there are actually older versions of this logo in which you can see how it was in the past, and it's very funny to see. So Nike logo old version, because this logo was designed by
A student,
student,
graphic
yeah, a
design.
girl.
Yeah.
because Phil Knight, the boss of Nike, he had a different.
We have an answer.
Oh, hey, Sarah is right. The statue of the Greek goddess and the wing. You could Google that up. We will too. So the goddess Nike.
We will too. Yeah, now you immediately know, because in the Netherlands some people also pronounce Nike as Nike, but eventually it is Nike, the goddess of victory, right?
Yeah, it is. And you can see in the pictures here that it actually does represent one of the wings, but in a very stylistic way.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
very cool. And
So-
she only got, like, the student that made this logo got $35 for making this logo design.
It's very funny.
Yeah, it's a very fun
Oh,
story.
yeah, here you have it, 1971 swoosh. See, so it
Yeah.
looked way different back then.
But
like
still,
more like a boomerang or something like that.
more like a wing, maybe.
But then they did some redesigns, and it's now it's just this. They should never change this ever again.
No, no.
It's too beautiful.
So the goddess of victory, Nike, and and she got $35 for it, but eventually, and she worked 8 hours or 18 hours.
Yeah,
I think it's in the PowerPoint.
It's in the PowerPoint. Where do we
But
have it?
that's insane, because if you're a very good logo designer, you can make a lot of money, really a lot of money. And the most simple logos are the hardest to make,
Yeah,
most of the time.
our Dutch broadcasters and NPO, that's
Yeah.
just a square, but they spend tons on it.
Which
Really,
is insane.
it's so many. Oh yeah, there it is again.
Yeah, 17,
See, 17 and a half hours.
$35.
Yeah, okay, that's so within 2 days she made it, $35, and then $1 million company came out of it.
Yeah, but later on she got, like, a lot of stocks in the company. She got a golden ring with a swoosh on it, so I think
And
she's
who
doing
doesn't
fine.
want to have that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a small test. Because if you have a good logo, you can even recognize the logo even without seeing the name. But just because they are so iconic designs, you can even recognize them either way. So, even if we don't see the name in these logos, what kind of brands do you recognize? And any brand that you recognize, one or more, put them in the chat, and then we'll see, and then we'll prove actually that it is true what we are saying.
It's also insane that you have a square with nothing in it and some dots, and that you immediately remember, oh, this is this brand. That your mind is working like that you're so, like, influenced by those brands.
That is what visual communication is all about.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, we tend to remember visual things way better than textual things or the things that we hear.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could name all of them.
Yeah, but some of them are a bit tricky.
Yeah, I know. Some are tricky. Oh yeah, okay. I don't know what the logo is on the bottom right. This I find difficult. That's just
Yeah.
a square with 3 dots.
Yeah.
Good thing we have the waiting music.
Ah, wedding music is good. But yeah, the one on the top left, I use daily. The one below that, well, only at home. The one below that, well, sometimes.
When you're hungry.
When I'm hungry. The one below that, oh, that was in my previous laptop. The one next to that, yeah, I do.
It's your hobby, right?
It's one of my hobbies. And a lot of my friends' hobbies as well.
Do we already have some answers or not yet?
Ooh, answers are coming in. Okay, great.
YouTube, Twitter, Levi's, IKEA, Microsoft, Amazon, Airbnb logo, the North Face.
Yeah, YouTube on the top left, then Skype, then, okay, what do we, Levi's, yeah, that's this one, Amazon, yeah, over here,
IKEA.
Nivea, yes, good, Airbnb, yep, Lego, yes, that's this one, All-Star, yeah, Converse, All-Stars, that's this one.
Yeah, the previous had North Face.
The North Face.
I don't know if the North Face is. Yeah, of course, or not. With this one.
Oh yeah, that's
The
the
North
North
Face,
Face.
yeah.
Good.
YouTube, Twitter.
Yeah, great. Microsoft
Dell.
over here.
Dell, indeed, right?
Yeah, Dell was, I think, was Dell this one?
Yeah.
I think so.
The circle. And yeah, Dell we have, did someone mention Yahoo? This is Yahoo.
No.
Yeah, FedEx.
Great. Yeah, FedEx, very good. This
I
one.
heart it.
I heart it. I love New York is this.
Yeah.
Or is it, or can you I heart it? Is the I love New York logo usable for other ones as well?
I have no idea.
Well, maybe you're right. And
Subway.
the original name is I heart it. Subway, yes, this one. Samsung over here. And Intel, yeah, this is Intel. Durex, we also have, but then this thing, I don't know what that is. This is Hewlett Packard, I think. IKEA, eBay, this one.
I think that we have most of them. Blocker.
Uh,
could be the new logo.
Blocker is Orange, actually,
Yeah,
a phone provider.
Does it still exist, Orange?
Yeah, it does. It's in France, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for some brands, it's very easy to recognize. For some, is it a bit harder because it's only a square or a circle with a certain color in it.
Yeah, but still, because of the color combinations
Yeah.
that they have, they're still very recognizable. Because this is a very specific kind of blue. That
Yeah, true.
It's just a circle, but because of the specific kind of blue, you know that it's Nivea. Okay, let's go to the next logo. So we had Nike, but another big brand that a lot of us use because of the laptops at Hanse or maybe for your phone is the Apple logo. And Apple is a brand that is has always been very good at adapting their logo to the products. So now that we have these very modern looking and very well refined and almost flat products that they have, the logo also defines that. But it hasn't always been the case, because if we go back into the history of the Apple logo, you can see that they actually had many versions of it. And all the way back in 1976, they had this very painting-like logo. It's very beautiful, so let's look it up.
But it's not very functional.
But it does tell a story,
Yeah.
as we can see.
It's still
in
symbolic.
a while.
Almost behind every logo design, there's a story to tell.
So this is the big version of it. Very beautiful, very classic. So what is the story of this logo? What do you see happening on this painting?
Probably some of you definitely know that.
Yeah, and if you tilt your head, the answer is already there. Yeah, you can put it in the chat, but we will explain already. Of course, this is Newton. His name is on the left side here. He's
Yeah,
sitting
Isaac
below
Newton.
a tree, an apple tree, and then the story goes that the apple fell on his head, and then he thought, "Hey, why was that?"
Yeah, and then he
Why does that
discovers
happen?
gravity.
Yeah, and then he discovered gravity. So that might be one of the stories behind the Apple logo. A different story is that
Yeah.
the A is just the first letter of the alphabet, and then there was a different a big company called Atari, and they were they existed before Apple actually, and everybody called Atari because that's the way they did it in the past. They needed a computer company, they called Atari, and Apple thought, well, we need to come before Atari in the phone book, so let's call our company Apple, because the P comes from before the T.
Yeah, but after a couple of years they changed it already because this logo design has too many details. You can't remember it that well, it doesn't work well on products. So they came up with a more minimalistic logo design.
That was a strange sentence actually, now that I mention it. The P comes for the T. Usually the P comes after
Yeah.
the T. No, okay. So, the beautiful logo, but back to the original one. Where's my PowerPoint? Oh, here. Well, original one. This was the original one.
Yeah.
Then they stylized a bit. They hired a designer, and he made this first version with the rainbow colors. Why does it have rainbow colors in them?
Because Apple was one of the first companies that sold full color
Displays.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so great. They used that logo for a long time, like 21 years. Yeah, 21 years before the year 1998, or well, somewhere between 1998 and 2000 came, because then they invented the first iMac, and the iMac was a very colorful, very funny computer. This was after Steve Jobs came back to Apple, and then with Ivy, what was his full name again? Jony Ive. That was the designer that made a lot of Apple's products, and together they made this specific look for the iMac, and it reflects in the logo because, as you can see, it's very translucent and almost shiny. So that's how the products were back then as well, like this funny MacBook.
Very 90s.
iBook, as it was called back then.
Yeah, very 90s. I love it.
I love it too. Then after that they got a bit more serious because you got the black and white MacBooks and an aluminum body MacBook Pro, and that also reflected in the logo, as you can see at the top, because then it turned to gray, but it was shiny again. And then after that they turned to the flat design, and everything became more simple. But did you know that this leaf actually fits perfectly into this space?
Yes, I did know that.
That's a very funny
I thought
fact.
it was also like a story that they first wanted to do without the bite, but then it was more like a tomato.
Ah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bite makes it an apple.
Yeah.
But this is brilliant that this
Yeah, it's
the
so
curvature
smart.
is exactly like this.
I like that. Yeah.
They think about that.
So we talked about a word mark, graphic mark, or both, and that sometimes in time a logo changes because of the products. Of course, a company does grow as well. Another thing in logo design, which is really important, is colors.
So again, let's do a little test, because when choosing colors, and there are a lot of them, we have to take some things in mind. And one of them is, are you colorblind? So 8 to 10% of the men is colorblind, and only 1% of females.
Yeah, so write down in the chat if you recognize the numbers in the circles. Because every time we do this online or in class, there are always people that are not colorblind but have more difficulty to distinguish the colors and the numbers.
Yeah, and what we want to tell you by that is that try to prevent the color combinations like you see on the one in the middle, because it's very difficult to make out what that is. Well, if you're not colorblind, then it's still quite difficult to see, but you can make out the number that's in there. But you see that if contrast is not good enough, like in a lot of these circles, then it's difficult to make out what it is. And yeah, well, one of the goals with logos is that they're immediately recognizable.
Yeah. Let's see if you guys can distinguish the color. 12, 8.
12, 8, 42,
42.
71, and
6.
Okay.
Interesting.
12, 2, 42, 74, and 6.
Nope.
2,
2, not 8, yeah.
Ah, good
That's
coming
true.
back. Maybe anyone who sees entirely different numbers, maybe in the middle one or one of the bottom two. Because this one is quite easy. This is actually, yeah, this is 12, this is 2, 42, 74, and 6. But if you are colorblind, it might be that you're seeing different numbers in these ones.
Yeah.
But maybe not all of us are, maybe we don't have any colorblind people in this.
No, there were some students. But this one is correct, fully correct.
Yeah, the 12, 2, 42, 74, and 6. Okay.
So another thing about colors is that they of course have a meaning. So every color has a different connotation and it's based upon your own values, on your own culture.
This is interesting.
Yeah, so this is a schedule, but it's not completely...
No, it's not complete.
It's not complete, no, sorry, no. As you can see, for example, if you take a look at the color purple, in Western countries it means wealth, royalty, powerful, but in Thailand it means mourning and death. So
and also the yellow I find very...
The yellow too, yeah.
Because,
so
yeah, of course, you have this yellow-purple jacket, and I find it very, well, it gives me a happy feeling.
Mm-hmm. But some people can also be...
Yeah, in what was it, in France or in Germany, it stands for jealousness, betray, weakness. See, so that's not at all positive.
No, gold, richness, jealousness, weakness.
China,
betray.
porn, that's strange.
Yeah, no. But also think about your logo design, what does the color mean? And do I want to focus on one country or different countries or Europe, or because as well as you can find in a supermarket when you buy chips, right? In Holland you have blue for paprika, but in other countries blue means natural. So it works the same. So think about which color do I want to choose and what does it mean? And you can see that the color blue has the least negative connotation. So a lot of companies, as well as the biggest tax company in the Netherlands, have the color blue.
But is it a typical Dutch thing to give, if we go to the product chocolate, then in Dutch supermarkets and Dutch brands used to have the red color for pure chocolate, and then you have milk chocolate, and that's in blue. But
I'm not sure.
Is it I don't know if maybe in countries you are coming from, maybe it's different.
I think in Germany it's the same.
Yeah.
But in other countries I don't know.
I don't know either. But it's well, the thing with that is we're used to expect a certain kind of taste. So the blue is the milk and the red, and if they hustle it up like Tony Chocolonely does, then you expect something different. And they do it with a purpose, because the reason for that is within the packaging. But sometimes some cheap Easter eggs with that are made of chocolate, they also do it.
Yeah,
then I expect milk chocolate, and then
it's pure.
It's pure.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, so colors can have different kind of connotations. Germany is different with water. Oh, that is true. Yeah, you have sparkling water and you have still water. And in Holland, red is sparkling water and blue is still water.
Yeah, true.
And in Germany, they turn it around.
Ah,
I think.
okay.
So
Okay.
that's really funny, but probably there are reasons behind it. So colors, not only the readability, so with the color blindness exercise, also the meaning is important, but also something else,
Oh, and that is
contrast.
contrast. If you take a look at these little robots in their colorful circles, then you can see that, well, some of them have very good contrast, that are in general the robots on the left, and some have very bad contrast. And that is because then,
Sorry.
bless you, then the colors are too close to each other, and then you cannot make out what is going on there. So make sure that you have good contrast, so that the difference between the foreground and the background is as big as you can make them. And usually you can do that by using the complementary colors. So if you have a color wheel, then choose a color that is just on the opposite side of it. So you can see that combinations of purple and yellow work very well, but that purple and black is too close to each other. And that also different shades of the same color don't work as nicely as they do. Also, a gray background does not work well with colors on top of them.
Almost
So
never.
No, it's not nice. So yeah, try to remember that when making a logo.
Yeah, and after this live stream, I will also upload this PowerPoint to Blackboard, so you can scroll it back and you can think about what colors work, what not. Maybe you have some inspiration, so you can use this PowerPoint for that. And now, so
well, take a look back at the logo very shortly. So the logo in total, we have a word mark and we have a graphic mark. So the things that we just discussed are usually, well, used for both of them. But for specific the word mark, we need to take a look at the fonts that you can choose. And there are
also
a
difficult.
lot of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of fonts, so it's really hard to find a good one sometimes.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, and take a look at this meme, font's choice matters. It stands here. The meaning on the left is so different from the one on the right, and it all has to do with the kind of font that you choose.
Yeah, completely true. And of course, who's your target group? Or who do you want to reach?
Well, maybe someone you want to murder, then you could choose the
left
font on the left. And if you want to take
for
someone out for a date, then you can choose the font on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Then that will be your target group.
Yeah, it's very funny and also very strong meaning.
Well, the first choice that you can make is between these two kinds of fonts, the sans serif and the serif fonts. What are the serifs?
Those are those little hooks on the ends of the letters most of the time.
Yeah, they're highlighted in red over here, and they have a circle around them. So they make it more...
more classy.
Yeah, a bit more classy, a bit more classical maybe, a bit more expensive
Yeah, and
than
also
the
more
top ones.
handwriting than the other one.
Yeah.
Comes a bit closer. So we use the serif fonts mostly in newspapers or books or anything that's printed.
Yeah, because that's there's a reason for that. Usually the serif fonts tend to be more pleasing to the eye when printed than the sans serifs. And that's why a lot of books are printed with serif fonts. And then on a screen, it's better to use the sans serif because they tend to come out better on the screen.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some products that are targeted to a specific group. So Unilever is a big brand that makes a lot of products. And these are two of their biggest brands. So Axe specifically targeted to their male customers and for female customers, although there are, of course, Oak Dove for men products. But this is the classic female version of it. And they go far with that, with their marketing. It's you can see it. You can see the differences in the target group they choose, just in the product design, and also again in the fonts.
Yeah.
So one of the big differences between the bottles.
Yeah, the male version is, there's a grip on it, there's sharp angles.
It's a bit more tough.
It's tough, dark color.
Dark colors, yeah.
And then the Dove bottle is soft and smooth, round curves.
Yeah, rounded.
White with gold and blue.
More classy.
Yeah, way more classy. Yeah.
Also, if we zoom in on their logos, you can also see it, right? So well, everything is soft on the Dove. So all the edges are rounded off. It's a very soft font. We have the little dove over here in golden. So it feels luxurious as well. And Axe is more to the point.
Yeah.
It's sturdy. It's a broad, a white font in capitals as well. So it's just as an Axe is. Bam.
True. Yeah.
So that's a funny thing. It gives you a feeling.
So they don't only do this with shower gels, they also do this with cars.
Yeah, take a look at this one. So if you remember what we just told you, which of these two are targeted towards men and which one is targeted towards women? Put it in the chat. I actually drive a car that's more targeted towards female customers, but I just find the Fiat 500 such a cool car.
Yeah, it is. And maybe I drive more a manly car.
What do you have?
Kia Sportage.
A Kia Sportage, yeah.
A big
There's a small
SUV.
girl in a big
yeah,
car.
true.
But it doesn't matter, we can choose
No.
whatever we want. And
Yeah.
if there is a small car I have to choose, then I would certainly choose the Fiat 500 over an Citroën
Yeah, of
C1
course.
or a Peugeot 108, 107, 108.
Yeah, true.
It's a bit more beefy. I don't want to end
Still
up in
cute.
a crash with
No,
a C1.
no. But still, in marketing, they do this all the time. In commercials, in products, in cars, everywhere you see this. Left
Men.
is for men.
Also include the reasons. Why is the left car more targeted towards men and the Giulietta more for the female customers? What do you see in the product design, in the font that they use?
Oh, no one.
Oh.
No one there.
Well, if you think back of the bottles with the cars, it's kind of
Do
the
the same thing.
Yeah, they do the same thing. Even the fonts look a little bit the same. See, so the Giulia actually looks a bit like the Axe font.
Mm-hmm.
And Giulietta is a bit more...
And even the name, Giulietta.
Giulietta,
yeah.
yeah, you can hear it as well. It's in the name as well.
And I think, first is masculine, second one is more feminine. Yeah, that's true.
But how do you see that? Well, of course,
The letter shapes, yeah.
But what specifically?
And even in the cars, maybe.
Well, the Giulietta has more rounded, again, more rounded shapes. So the headlights are more rounded, the car itself is more rounded off.
Even the mirrors.
Even the mirrors. Oh yeah, you're right. Even the mirrors are more round than they are at the Giulia. And you're right, in the font it is as well. Just as with the Axe and the Dove.
More curves for the right one, yeah.
It's funny, right? If you take a look at products and you remember this, then you will see it. You will see it in a lot of things. Okay, enough about the cars.
Enough about the cars, yeah.
Let's take another look at
Some logos.
some logos.
Because you can actually see for some big brands, for example Intertoys, I don't know if you guys know that store, but it's a store for kids, so that they sell toys. And even in the font it's more playful, it's more fun, it's not that tight together, it's not on lines. So yeah, it already kind of visualizes what kind of brand it is and for who it is.
Yeah, Kids Week also has that. So if you have a younger target audience, they tend to make the font also more playful. It's attractive for them.
Disney as well, the handwriting of Walt Disney.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. The original is really his handwriting. Very special handwriting he had.
And I think Netflix has such a cool but clean logo design, because of course it's a word mark, but it's also kind of a graphic mark, because you can actually see the cinema screen in front of you.
Yeah.
And when I see this, I immediately think doo-doo-doo-doo, like the
You hear the sound.
yeah, the intro sound of Netflix.
You have the that's nice of the Netflix logo. Yeah, the curvature of the widescreen is in there.
And maybe even the red of the cinema chairs.
Actually, the Veronica logo. Well, Veronica was first. Netflix came after, but they have this curvature in.
Yeah.
But they follow this wave. But that is because, well, a lot of logos have an history behind them. There are stories to tell about logos. There are stories behind them, why they have a certain kind of look. So with Disney it's easy. That's just the handwriting of Walt Disney. Netflix, so the screen is in there. For this brand Philips, you can see these waves, but this is a different wave than the Veronica wave.
It's not a washing machine.
It's not a washing machine. A lot of people think so. These are radio waves. That's because Philips was one of the first to make radios, and that is what these waves represent. Veronica is a Dutch broadcaster. They have a TV and a radio station, and they weren't allowed to make TV programs in the past, so they were an illegal broadcaster, but they wanted to do it anyway. So they had a mission. They had a ship close to Scheveningen, and then just outside the borders of the Netherlands, and then they just made their recordings, their shows in the mainland, and then they shipped it towards their ship. And then they send it back to the Dutch people so they could listen to it. And that's why the logo is blue and has this wave, because it represents the sea.
Very cool story. And Unilever as well, because they have different kind of products they actually sell in their logo design.
Do you see the dove?
Yeah, the little dove. You can see the ice cream.
Ola is still from Unilever, so you can see the ice cream in there. And this is also an ice cream. And they used to be...
and fish, Iglo.
Yeah, the owners of Iglo, so they have that over here. Maybe they also have a coffee brand?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, it represents all the kind of household products that they have and the food that they sell.
And it's very beautiful. Yeah. And then last but not least, you can see Lacoste. Of course, Lacoste have a story, because...
Always a fun story.
It's not a crocodile you're buying if there's like a Lacoste logo on it. Mr. Lacoste was a famous tennis player, and once he played a match to one of his tennis friends, and he made a bet, and the winner got a suitcase made of crocodile leather. So now, since he won that match, every time he has like an official match, he brought that suitcase, and they call him Mr. Crocodile. So later on, when he was retired as a tennis player, he thought, I'm going to create my own sportswear, and I'm going to visualize my nickname, like the crocodile, and of course my last name. And yeah, that's the story behind it, which is pretty funny.
Really, and the beautiful logo as well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful logo because that green works on almost every kind of shirt and color of that shirt that Lacoste sell. So it's very strong. Yeah. You can immediately recognize it.
Okay, well, this was the last part of this presentation. So next week you will make your own logo. And we have some golden rules left for logo design. Let's take a look at them. So during the lesson we will also explain them again.
Yeah.
But one of the rules in logo design is 1, keep it simple.
Yes, just like the Nike logo and some of the really famous, the Apple logo as well. So keep it simple because people can easily remember it, and it can work on big and small scale.
Sizes, like
Yeah.
this. By simple, we don't necessarily mean
Easy.
easy, because the Nike logo is very difficult to make, but this doesn't have too much detail in it. Well, okay, the Unilever brand also has it, but then the nice thing of the Unilever brand is that if you take a look at it from a distance, then it's just a U. And with the Apple logo, the old Apple logo, this is just difficult to make out from a big distance. You
Yeah.
wouldn't
Too many details.
you wouldn't put this on the back of your phone.
No.
So that's an important thing. It should work on a large and a small scale, just like the McDonald's logo you see on here with the sauce container or the billboard.
Yeah. And the third tip is, or trick, or rule, a logo should be effective in color and black and white. Which means a logo should mean the same if you transform it to black and white. So for the Instagram logo, it's very clear that it still works in color and in black and white. For Nike as well. But maybe from other logos that have maybe some negative space in there or not, the meaning changes when you transform it to black and white. And that is not something that will work for a logo design.
I think it's like the Rabobank logo could end up
Yeah.
badly if it turns into
One solid color, yeah.
Yeah, because then you cannot make out the legs anymore if this is one solid color. So this is a very difficult logo to turn. But the other ones like Disney and Netflix, they have a flat color. They have only one color.
Yeah.
So you can just change the color and then it's still the same logo. And then the final one.
Yeah, logos can be descriptive and or symbolic. Like we talked about the different kind of logos and their meaning. This was the logo design when Barack Obama was running for president. So you can see the American flag
Yes.
in it. You can see an horizon.
A sunrise.
A sunrise in it.
It stands for hope.
Yes. And when Trump was running for president a few years later, a journalist flipped the logo design, which is pretty funny because now you can see Trump, his hair, which
This
was
is
very
funny,
smart.
yeah. Very strong joke.
Yeah.
And then a logo can also be descriptive. So this is very symbolic, but the Burger King logo, that's not really symbolic. It's just, it is what it is. It's a burger on a patty.
Yeah.
And the Burger King letters, the font makes the burger. And you cannot almost use the two separately of one of another. So it's a really an integrated thing. What I do like is that Burger King and a lot of other logos do this. A lot of companies do this as well. Burger King went back to their old design. Oh, you can already see it.
Yeah, and Philips did it as well, that they went to their old logo again. Burger King is now, this
Yeah,
is
you
cool.
have it.
I really like this logo.
Yeah, I like this better than the new one.
Yeah,
actually.
me too. I
It's,
love it.
It's cuter.
Maybe the colors are a bit more flat, or
Yeah, it's a bit more old-fashioned.
more
actually.
old-fashioned. Yeah,
Not as bright as the other one.
no, but still cool.
Logo history. They actually have a lot of. It's fun to take a look. Just pick any brand and type in their history, and then you can see. This is also funny. The one on the top right. So from 57 to 69, they had this guy, this king on a bread. Oh, it's not. Oh yeah. There you have it.
Funny.
Very different. And then they came up. So this is actually. Now they're using the old logo from 69 again.
I like that. It's cool. So this is it for now, I think, because we talked about word marks, graphic marks, colors, fonts, and of course we give you some rules for the logo design. So next week in class we're going to do a fun exercise, which you're going to create your own logo afterwards.
So if there's not any questions left, no new questions, then we'll be very happy to see you in class, and then we'll do the exercises and let you make your own logo. So have fun in the upcoming weeks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.